Hey guys, welcome to Chapter 6, Lesson 1. These are all on pages 379 to 384. Alright, so 379 to 384 today. Today we're going to be talking about, last chapter we did adding and subtracting of decimals, and now we're going to be doing multiplication of decimals. But first we're going to start out with whole numbers. And as you can see here, we say estimate products. And when you see that word products, that means that we are multiplying, all right? And we're going to be taking these, basically the whole numbers, as you can see here, the 5 and this decimal, we're going to round it up. So again, the essential question is, how is multiplying and dividing decimals similar to multiplying and dividing whole numbers, all right? So we have Mrs. James buys about 15 and 8/10 of a gallon of gas each week for her car. About, that's the key word, is about how many gallons of gas will she buy? All right, so that's what we're looking at here, are those two numbers, 15 and 8/10, which is right here, and 5 weeks. Now, not always do we have to worry about, we're going to multiply, divide, or add, or subtract. But in this chapter, of course, we're going to be multiplying. So we have our number 15 and 8/10 here. We need to look at this and say we're doing it to the nearest whole number. And remember, the whole number is the nearest ones. So we're going to look over at this number right here, and that is an 8. Well, that's 5 or more, so that means we're going to raise this 5 up to a 6. So the whole number is 16. Okay, so that's the nearest whole number. And then we leave the 5 the same, we don't mess with it. Then we multiply to estimate the product. So then this, when we say 6 times 5 is 30, carry the 3, 5 times 1 is 5, 5 plus 3 is 8. So our estimate, so 15 and 8/10 times 5 is about 80. Mrs. James buys about 80 gallons per week. Now, checking, we have to use repeated addition. All we have to do is say, well, this 16, we got to do it 5 times. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we add all those together. If you did it over here, you would get 80. Now, if we were to do this, 15.8 plus 15.8 plus 15.8, 15.8, we had that 5 times. This could get very, very time consuming, couldn't it? But it's kind of easy because you look at this, 8 times 5 is 40. And then we do this, 5 times 5 is 25 plus 4 is 29. Put the 2 up there. And then you have 5 ones, so we have 79 as our actual answer. You can see 79 is our answer. So 80 is close to the, I'm sorry, that should be 79 is close to the estimate. So 80, the answer is reasonable. All right. So that's kind of a way that we're going around this to figure it out is, we don't need to do all these repeated additions. However, we just need to make sure that we do that. All right, so we have another problem here. We have example 2. We have a worker loads 16 packages onto a truck. Each package weighs 58 and 5/10 pounds. About, again, our keyword is about how many pounds are loaded onto the truck. So we have 16 and we have 58.5. Again, each package weighs that much, and he loads 16 of them. So obviously you should know that you're going to be multiplying that whenever you talk about how many pounds total. So our problem, like it says, we're going to estimate 58 and 5/10 and 16. So this one says to use compatible numbers, and that works too. You can look at this and say, well, 58. I could say that's 59, but that's not going to multiply well even with 20. So we're just going to really estimate that up to 60, because if we round this up to 20, 6 and 2 works really well together, right? So we can say 6 and 2 is 12, and then we have 2 zeros there that we put on there. And like it says right here, 60 times 20 is easier to find than 60 times 16. So 58 and 5/10 is about, times 16 is about 1,200. Right. And you see that one we didn't have to check because it's going to be way different because we rounded both of these up. So this is going to be way higher than the actual answer is going to be. Looking down here at the bottom, we have estimate each product. Well, again, the money one is easy to look at. Is this closer to $4 or $5? You should see that that's closer to $4. So 4 times 2 equals, that's right, 8. Pretty easy, right? $8. That's pretty close. This one here, again, we're going to round this. We're going to say, well, this is a 10. That's a fun one to work with, 10. Well, 18.4, well, we don't want the decimal, so we're going to say, well, that's closer to, so we're going to look at this 4 here and see that that's less than 5, so we're going to keep this an 18. What's 18 times 1? Well, that's going to be 18, and then we have 1 0 right there, so we have 180. This one here, again, we're going to leave the 3 the same because that's fun to work with. And this one here, you look at 19.8. Well, you look at this 8, and you see that's more than 5. So then you ask yourself, well, what are you going to round that 9 up to? Well, this is 19, right? So you're going to round that up to 20. So we have 20 times 3. 2 times 3 is 6, and then there's 1 0. We get 60 as our answer. All right, so the last one here, we have 5 times $2.14. So again, you look at this. 5 we're going to keep the same. So 5 times. So we look at this and say, well, is that closer to $2 or $3? Well, 14 cents is not a whole lot, so it's closer to $2. You multiply that together, you're going to get an estimate of $10. Right? Explain how to round 18 and 9/10 to the nearest whole number. Well, you're going to write this over here. And you got to explain how you're going to do this. So what you're going to do is you're going to write out words. And I'm going to explain it by saying, well, I'm going to use it like you guys do. Well, you look at the number next to the ones place, and it is a 9. 9 is more than 5, so raise 8 to a 9, giving you, that'd be 19 right there. That's explaining, again, it's just talk math while I'm explaining how I do that, all right? So let's go ahead and dive into the independent practice here. Now, I'm not doing all these independent practices with you like I did on the last video, because you're going to have the rest of this do on your own, because, again, this is all fairly simple. We might look over here on the back side of this, but so we're going to estimate the products here. And we're going to look at this first, and we're going to say, well, again, the whole numbers right here, circle the whole numbers. These are the ones that you're going to keep the same. Okay, keep the same. We may have to adjust a few of them just so we can use it with a more compatible number. All right. So this one here we're going to look at and say, well, that dollar amount. Most of these are in dollar amounts, so the dollars are easy to deal with. 462. Well, that is more than 50 cents. You're going to round it up to 5. So we just say 4 times 5 equals 20. All right, that's pretty easy there. Okay. So this one here, number 6. Again, we keep 3 the same. 23.07. That's pretty close to $23, not 24. Now, you could have probably used a more compatible number with that, but I'm just going to go over here because it doesn't take as long to do this. Let's say 196 equals $69. Doesn't take us a whole lot of time to do that. This one here, we look at this and we say 1550. 50, if it's 5 or more, so we got to round this up to $16 times 6. I can come over here and just do this right here. It's not that hard. 96 is our answer. Okay, this one here, 1685. That's pretty close to $17. So 17 times 9. If we did compatible numbers, we could have just said 10. And that would have been easy to say, well, 17 times 1 is 17, add the 0 on there. So see how easy that's an easy adjustment to make, because that 9 is so close to the 10. 7 and 2 tenths times 5, well, that's easy. That's closer to 7. Makes it 35. Again, I can see this easy because I look at this number and say, well, that's not 5 or more, so I just leave the 7 to 7. Because Remember on the timeline we said 7 and 8. In between here's 7.5. Well, 7.2 would be like here, so it's closer to the 7 is how we got that 7 there. Alright, so then we have 14.5. Again, this 5 right here means that's 5 or more, so we're going to raise that to a 15. 15 times 3. Well, if you don't know that, you can do it over here. That's 15, but the one up there is 4, so 45 is their estimate right there. Again, just because we're estimating doesn't mean we have to do it mentally. It doesn't mean we have to do it mentally. 9. And since this is a 9, I'm going to leave that alone because I see what's coming up. 19.7. Well, that's a 7. That means this is closer to actually 20. So that'll be a lot closer because we do 9 times 2, which would give us 18, and then we have that 1 0 right there, so we have 180 as our answer. Thank you, Callie. On this one right here, again, this is 11. I don't want to deal with the double digit like that, so I'm going to take this to a 10. And then we're going to look at this one right here, and we're going to say, well, that 2 is going to be less than 5, so we're going to leave this at 26. So that's a pretty easy one to say 1 times 26 is 26. We got the 1 0 here, 260. Their answer. 89 cents times 14. Well, this should be easy because this 89 cents is pretty close to a buck, right? So we can say 1 times 14 equal, keep doing X, equals $14 because 1 times right. And then this one here, again, this 13. I want to deal with a 10 more than I do a 13, I'll tell you that much. And this 18 times 8 is pretty close to 19. And then I say, well, 19 times 1 is 19. I add the 1 0, I have 190. Not too bad, not too bad. Word problems, you kind of have the same thing. You kind of have to just kind of filter through it and see what you got going on here. 4 flip-flops, you look at the flip-flops, so you take 5.95 times 4. Is there there's 4 of them, that's what you're doing. And you look at this, you say, well, $5.95 is actually pretty close to $6, right? So then you times that by 4, and that's going to give you $24. Easy. 3 sunglasses and 2 flips. So we got double one here. We have 3 sunglasses, which is 3 times 1089. And then we have, and then 2 flip-flops. So we have flip-flops is $5.95. So 2 times $5.95. Let's go ahead and put these in parentheses because we're doing these and then we have to add them. Looks like an add, doesn't it? So this is pretty close to $11. This is pretty close to $6, right? We still got the groups here. And then it appears that we have 33 right there because 11 times 3 is 33. And then this one's 12. And then we just add those together and that's going to give us 45. 45 is our answer. I'm sorry. There. And then using number sense here, we had about 57 people. They rent rollerblades at a skating beach each day. It costs $4.25 to rent rollerblades. About how much does the rink make in skate rentals in 1 day? So basically, we're taking 57 times $4.25. Again, the key word is about. So we're going to round this right here to 4. Right, to the nearest whole dollar. And again, we have to do it on the side here. So we take 57 times 4. Say 7 times 4 is 28. Add 2. 4 times 5 is 20. Add 2, 22. So they make about $228 a day. So your homework assignment tonight, and what you need to do is you have these 9 problems here, and then you have these on the back right here. You may have to do compatible numbers, and that's fine because you can see right here we have 9 days. I'd probably round that to a 10. But you know, show your work that you guys do, and don't jump around. Don't just write answers down, but kind of show your thought process. Show what you rounded to. So again, make sure you show your work, like on this one right here. You know, make sure you show what you round to, and then actually do the math on there. Because I'm gonna be looking for that when I go to grade it, guys. And again, make sure you put your name up here, and then also you need to make sure that you staple. You put your pages together with your name up here and you staple all of them together. You have, put them in order like that, homework on the back, and then make sure your name is up here. And then when you guys are finished, you can turn it into the math box. Make sure it's stapled and your name is on it. So, all right, good luck, guys. If you need me, I'll either be on Google Meet or I will be in the back of the room helping you if you need it. Take care. Bye-bye.